Welcome back. We have now arrived at the point that so many of you were waiting for. We are starting with our BoostUp RIS Final Event 2021. You might be interested to know that we had 57 total applications from 15 RIS countries. Now, we have explained RIS several times before. That stands for Regional Innovation Scheme and is primarily supporting those nations who have, according to the European scoreboard, more modest or moderate innovation activity. Interesting also to know is that about 40% of all of those applications were in the area of digitalization, and another 40% were covering the areas of circular economy and the Green Deal. To lead into this BoostUp 21 Special RIS edition, I'm joined today by Dr. Romana Jordan, an advisor to the director of the Josef Stephan Institute and member of the governing board of the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, by Doris Agneta, who is CEO of TechNet Equity and Neuberg Bank, and of course our CEO of EIT Manufacturing, Klaus Beetz. Klaus, let me start with you. As a director for business creation and entrepreneurship of EIT Digital for so many years within the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, and now as obviously CEO of EIT Manufacturing, and with 3 decades of industry experience, you have truly a 360-degree view on startups, particularly those in the technological field. So please share with us your insights on our BoostUp 21 Special RIS edition.
So first of all, a big thank you for the kind introduction, Johannes, and also a very warm welcome to all the listeners and the audience to our BoostUp RIS, our special edition. I mean, we started BoostUp last year as a flagship event, not only for the EIT Manufacturing Entrepreneurship and Business Creation pillar, but also for whole EIT Manufacturing as an innovation community under the umbrella of the European Institute of Innovation and Technology. We started our activities last year, so we are still a new kid on the block. But I think with BoostUp, we have proven that this is an excellent opportunity for engaging and growing our startup community all across Europe. And but the competition, this is just not only for the winners, for all participants. This is just a starting point for a joint journey between EIT Manufacturing and all their partners and the startups on the way to create an impact by developing high growth companies. And if we look around in Europe, the most important obstacle for startups, if they have established in the local ecosystem with the first customer, with a ready product, their position is to grow on a European level and beyond. I mean, in US, a startup from Texas, they can move even to Alaska, to the East Coast, to the West Coast quite easily. In Europe, this is still a challenge for startups from Finland, from Germany, to extend their business to another country. And this is our focus on the European level. We want to support startups on their journey to grow on a European level and beyond. And as inclusiveness, openness, transparency, and collaboration is the cornerstone, not only from BoostUp, but also for the EIT Manufacturing in a whole. This year's competition, as Johannes mentioned in the beginning, we have a special focus on and a special attention and growth support to startups that may have not all the needed local resources for scaling up, but they are still thriving and have accomplished extraordinary results. You know, I am living in the Munich area. This is a very rich ecosystem for startups. So a lot of large corporations, a lot of incubators, accelerators there are around. And unfortunately, this is not always in Europe the case that you have such a rich ecosystem around us. So therefore, we specifically want to ensure that all local and entrepreneurial and regional ecosystems are equally represented in our innovation community, regardless of the maturity of their local innovation support infrastructure. So therefore, we focus this year on the regional innovation scheme countries And I'm quite happy that we have, out of the 17 so-called RIS countries, we have applications from 15, and all of them are of a quite high quality. So I'm quite pleased with the result, and to be honest, I'm happy to not be in the jury, because this will be a tough decision who at the end will make it. So with that, again, a very warm welcome to all the listeners, and good luck for the jury and Johannes for the BoostUp event.
Much, Klaus. Now, today we have the acceleration division starting this afternoon, so to speak. We have had a really good lineup last year. We have a great lineup this year. What are your specific expectations for this afternoon, Klaus?
Yeah, I mean, I hope that you have the same impression as I have when I looked at the applications for the various candidates. I think we can proud of, as Europeans, that we have such high qualified startups in our pipeline around in Europe. And also, I'm especially happy that we have so good startups, not only in the quite well-developed countries like Germany, France, Austria, but also in the RIS countries, that we have such a good quality of startups there.
So true, Klaus, and I'm extremely happy too, because out of my 12 countries, 11 are RIS countries, and we got a lot of really good applications. And I know, and I've heard that the external evaluators had quite a difficult time to find the finalists. So I'm really excited about listening to their pitches this afternoon. Klaus, thank you so much for joining us, and I'm looking forward to having you with us tomorrow for the award ceremonies.
Yeah, thank you. I'm looking forward to hand over the prizes to the winners.
Thank you, Klaus. Let me go to you, Romana, now. As an advisor to the director of the Josef Stephan Institute, a highly regarded partner company of EIT Manufacturing, with a PhD in nuclear engineering, and as a member of the governing board of the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, you clearly possess a comprehensive insight into the knowledge triangle and the key role that startups and SMEs hold in this triangle. Good afternoon, Romana.
Good afternoon to everybody. I have to say that it's really a pleasure for me, and that I am here with you with this very important event. And I would like to thank you for this opportunity. So I would like to congratulate to the contestants and for making it so far. And I can't wait to see how the competition unfolds. So as you probably know, EIT is Europe's largest innovation ecosystem. And unlike other R&I instruments, we work along the entire innovation chain, which was already mentioned several times now. But do you know that our network is made up of over 2,000 partners working through more than 60 innovation hubs? Do you know that we, in the past decades, have supported more than 3,200 ventures? We helped to create over 1,170 products and services, and so on and so on. So all these numbers prove that the approach covering the whole knowledge triangle integration is successful. We unite with this triangle business, research, education, in the so-called KICs, knowledge and innovation communities. And now some of the KICs are spreading this triangle also to the NGOs and other players, citizens, for example. Our KICs deliver innovation for entrepreneurial educational programs, innovative research projects, and also business creation and acceleration services. Business creation and acceleration is central pillar of the EIT community's work. Startups, scale-ups, SMEs are the sources and drivers of the innovative solutions Europe needs to address challenges like COVID-19, economic recovery, or climate change. Let me mention that 2 EIT-supported ventures have already reached unicorn status namely Northvolt, which was backed by the EIT InnoEnergy, and Lilium Aviation, backed by KICS Climate. EIT Manufacturing is one of the two youngest EIT KICS, but is doing already fantastic work to support innovations in the manufacturing sector. And let me mention, just for example, its support to clean air, an innovative air conditioning solution that can clean the air and disinfect surfaces. BoostUp RIS is a great example of how the EIT community can support both innovative ventures and regional development. It illustrates the EIT's biggest strength. This is ecosystem building. And this event is a perfect opportunity to come together, strengthen our network, and celebrate some of Europe's best innovators. And importantly, I would like to say that we are preparing to launch a new EIT KIC for the cultural and creative sectors, and call will be published this year, but you can find more information about the call on our website. And before I sign off, I'd like to mention that we have an event coming up on 14th of June to launch our new strategy for years 2021-2027. At the event, you'll be able to learn more about our upcoming opportunities. Thank you for your time and enjoy the competition.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Romana. Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, you're not only a board member of the governing board of the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, but you're working very close with a highly cherished partners of ours, the Josef Stefan Institute in Slovenia. Can you talk us a little bit, tell us a little bit about, kind of best practices you have seen of collaboration of startups with RTOs and academia in Slovenia?
Very, very tricky question. In this sense, we are moderate. We in Slovenia are in the group of countries of moderate innovators, which means that our innovation ecosystem is not at the level of member states from the western part of European Union, but we are developing well. One of the best programs, at least I see from the perspective of Josef Stefan Institute, is certainly Smart Specialization Strategy, which was started in the previous programming period, and which is systematically supporting collaboration between businesses and of course research and academical institutions, a little bit also supporting startups, but here is not the focus. So here I see a lot of complementarity and synergies which we can develop in cooperation with the EIT. But in Slovenia, the government, or it was some complex procedure, but at the end, 9 priority areas were defined, and Josef Stefan Institute is coordinator of 2 out of 9 these areas, namely for factories of the future and smart cities and communities. And actually, all these activities which we did within the smart specialization, which is of course a cohesion policy, enable us and gives us opportunity to develop some, to upgrade some of our services. And based on this work, we actually were able to go on and start cooperate with 2, systematically cooperate with 2 of the EIT KICs, which are EIT Raw Materials and EIT Manufacturing. And this, I think, is very good practice. These synergies which could be used by the players in this innovation ecosystem. And this is from the perspective of our institute, Josef Stefan Institute. From the perspective of EIT, we have to support and insist that we at the EIT and KICS levels keep finding these synergies to support innovation players to very easy combine all these mechanisms and opportunities And I keep saying that Europe is actually full of these opportunities. We just have to present them to the right institutions, persons, startups, businesses, research organizations, universities.
Thank you so much, Romana. So if you are a young manufacturing startup or a scale-up in Slovenia and you want to get in touch with people who can help you, contact us, contact the EIT Manufacturing Hub. We will bring you together with the people at the Josef Stephan Institute, and they are more than happy to help you. Thank you so much, Romana. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for volunteering your time and talent for EIT Manufacturing. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It was a big pleasure for me.
Now we come to Doris. She is currently the CEO of TechNet Equity, a venture capital fund focusing on technology-oriented, innovative, high-growth companies. She's also the CEO of Nöbag, a bank which offers alternative financing solutions for companies. And she has a vast experience in finance and technology transfer from her work with incubators. So a perfect position to see the industry transformation role of startups play out from all directions. So welcome, Doris.
A very warm welcome from me as well. Thank you for having me here. I'm very proud to be part of EIT Manufacturing Strategic Board and also very proud to be here today. I think this event is bringing together the whole manufacturing community, researchers, innovators, startups, entrepreneurs and investors. And I'm really looking forward to these next 2 days with a lot of new insights and innovative ideas to successfully face the future. All of you might have already asked yourself, what are the future challenges in manufacturing? Which main challenges are to be faced? I think the challenges are twofold. On the one hand, every manufacturing company's aim is to grow and maximize its return, of course. But on the other hand, its impact on society and on the environment is crucial. Climate change and digital transitions are the drivers of the future. The solutions are, of course, technology-driven, but in order to derive an impact, innovation is needed. And who better to drive these structural changes than startups? Startups, as we know, are more agile, more flexible, faster in responding to the market needs than established companies. During the last year, it once more really became evident that startups are the driver of economic growth and essential to overcome the crisis. In Austria, for example, every 4th startup worked on solutions to overcome the crisis. And while most of the companies reduced the numbers of employees in these days, Austrian startups actually managed to rise the average number of employees and created new jobs. The founders of startups are often driven by the motivation to change the world for the better. Thus, for the purpose of finding the solutions for tomorrow, creators, innovators of the markets for tomorrow are crucial. If we have a look at manufacturing field, I think for fostering innovation in the field of manufacturing, deep tech startups are the one we have to look to. There was a study by the European Union that Europe's deep tech companies are worth a combined 700 billion euro today. Many have their roots in academia and through thus early support from government grants on the national as well as on the European level. But I think yet there is a lot more potential to be unlocked. Europe's universities and research institutions are really world-class. But economically, there is a huge gap with the US and even with China. This commercial gap can only be closed by fostering an entrepreneurial culture, starting on campuses. training first-time academic entrepreneurs and tech transfer officers. And that's, in my opinion, very important, offering spin-outs, simpler and faster deals by these universities. We need deep tech companies that scale up in Europe and beyond. Universities, governments, and dedicated investors, such as we are as venture capitalists, should move closer towards each other to help such companies succeed and scale up. Why is that? I think because it takes more time and more money to build a deep tech startup. Deep tech startups not only have a longer cash burn than regular startups, but also face higher risks. They have to cope with R&D risk as well as with the product market risk. However, if they manage to succeed, they are the ones to disrupt whole industries. So this greater risk needs greater support from multiple directions. Each stakeholder plays an important role in reducing different types of risks throughout the life cycle of a deep tech company. Early support from universities and from government grants is essential and is effectively really decreasing later stage risks of investors. But to scale up these startups, venture capital is needed. Venture capital provides the scale-ups not only with money, but also with professional experience and networks. And VCs challenge the startup and their founders. Honestly, VCs are not the easiest partners. However, in a fruitful partnership, there is a constant push and pull from both sides, from startups and from the investors. The VCs would like to see professional structures in the companies at an early stage. But all these efforts are essential to build a sound basis for future growth. And last but not least, venture capitalists are exit-driven, which means they are looking for market fit and industry partners from the very beginning. And of course, as already has been mentioned today, such industry partners, SMEs, and large companies are the key players in building a flourishing tech ecosystem. While industry companies, large companies, are looking for groundbreaking new technologies via scouting activities, SMEs often find it difficult to get access to new technologies. I think that's another important point to stress. Here also support is needed to drive the change management process within these SMEs. All this underlines the importance of bringing together key players from across the manufacturing value chain, including the researchers, the startups, industry partners, SMEs, and venture capitalists. So I am sure this BoostUp event can play an important role in making this happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Doris. Very insightful. I have a question here. And that is, you mentioned that, higher risk that is connected to deep tech startups. Do you see any trends, any tendencies, any new instruments coming up that would, mitigate that kind of risk?
Yeah, I think as regards the effect of broader trends, I think that it advances in especially artificial intelligence, and on the other hand, more experienced talent pools could reduce the risk for startups significantly. So these talent pools, where do they come from? I think it's very important that the startups are supported at really all stages and that all the support systems work well together. To begin with, in academia, it is key at a very, very early stage that the students and researchers look at their research results not only from an academic perspective, not only to ask in which highly ranked journal will my paper be published, but also from a value-driven perspective. Academics and engineers have to understand that the successful commercialization of their invention is the most effective way to disseminate their innovation. Themes like IP management are really have to be stressed. There are so many IP pitfalls for new companies. We have to train technology officers well in this area. We have to set up accelerators with focused workshops, individual coaches, and network building. And of course, I think Romana mentioned it as well, incubation programs really do have a high impact. They can help setting up the right team members, acquiring the necessary skills to run a company, and attracting thus the appropriate investors. These incubators can be door openers to industry partners and to funding institutions. And access to finance should start on a national level, I think so, but it is important to build an international network as soon as possible.
Very good. Thank you so much, Doris. Thank you to the entire panel again, Dr. Romana Jordan, Dr. Doris Agneta, and the CEO of EIT Manufacturing, Klaus Bates. Thank you to you all, guys. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you.